Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to step 6, week 6. And it's a bit bittersweet. Like, I'm always so excited for dfree, and then we get to the last course or Super Saturday, and normally I'm a mess. So, to prepare for that, I did not wear makeup just in case. But
Mm,
it's been a wonderful journey. The testimonies have been so amazing and so encouraging and uplifting, and it just drives home why increasing hope, why we stand behind dfree, why we promote dfree, why we live dfree. And I think that's a big difference between just talking about something and actually walking it out. So it's such a beautiful metamorphosis to me to be able to start the process and walk through the process, um, with you ladies, and to see how it's making a difference and how you're applying it. So that is such a beautiful, beautiful thing to me. And it also helps me stay accountable because, once you learn something, it's sometimes super easy to do it while you're doing it. But the only way it works to have fruit, to be able to talk about it, to someone else
mhm.
is to stay on top of it. So it's kind of difficult to be a hypocrite, so you have to be practicing what you preach. So being able to, facilitate these sessions and walk through it definitely helps me to be accountable, personally. So I am practicing what I am preaching to everyone else that's in the course. So, all right. Our money tip this week: retirement savings.
Mm.
As you reduce debts and high interest accounts, you need to ensure your retirement accounts are set up. And Miss Carol, do you have retirement
No,
accounts?
no,
No?
I don't.
Okay. Is that something that you are interested in, or something that you're looking to really consider or talk through in the next little bit here?
I'm interested and would like to talk through, get additional information about costs and all that stuff. So, yes.
Okay. So I will loop you in with someone that we work with here to at least get the conversation going so you can ask some questions. I am right there with you. I am actually starting an IRA account. So I closed out my 401k and use that money to pay off some stuff. So I'll definitely be sharing the information as I get it with you as well.
Okay.
All right, Miss Class, you know how that goes. I send the videos. If you have any questions, you ladies are so great with emailing and or calling and or coming in. It was so good to get to meet you face to face and go over the budgeting and loop Paul in to help with the tax portion. So it's we're super hands on. Like I tell you in the beginning, we're family, and once we're family, we jump in the trenches with you. So it works if you work it.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm about to, um, talk to Pinnacle because actual taxes are due next month. And so they really need to be completed. So I'm gathering up as much as I can find to get it done. And because I really did not want to wait for the last minute till October 15th. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so that is something that I'm still working on.
Okay. But there's movement. So that's always good. It sounds like you're talking to the right folks. And I connected you and Paul, so I did see that you two were, corresponding. So that's
Yes,
awesome.
I did let him know when he's ready to make an appointment. I just let me know. So, That's how I left it off.
All right. Well, you're in good hands. I think you learned that you're in good hands and increasing hope. So, all right. Well, let us go ahead with our opening prayer. Dear God, you gave us the gift of time. Help me use time in a meaningful way by assigning deadlines to my goals. Amen. Would anybody like to read our response?
I'll read it.
And
Thank
the,
you. Oh.
oh,
Understanding the relationship between time and money is crucial if I am to break free from debt and experience financial freedom.
Amen. Does anyone have any takeaways from the opening prayer or the response? Ms. D, I heard you chime in for a
oh,
second there.
I was gonna read the response, but I'll chime in and just share in relationship to seeing time and money and how they relate to each other. It is crucial because although it's never too late, the longer we wait, then the less time and the less impact that we're able to have. And so the relationship is very, very crucial. And when we do begin to see that, it will help us, on our journey to financial freedom. So.
Amen. Amen. Uh, in dfree, one of the affirmations is, time is
Mhm,
our most valuable asset. We hear it all
mhm,
the time. Time is money. I'm learning very quickly what that is in multiple areas, but especially when it comes down to our goals. If we don't set a deadline, then it's really just a dream, right? Or a wish. It's like I wish I can do this, but as soon as you set a deadline to it, then now it's something that you can really work towards to actually accomplish. So time is our most valuable asset. All right, just a brief recap. In week 4, we started the plan, which is our spending plan. We last week steered the power. We talked about spending leaks. Looking at that spending plan, using it, finding out where our money is leaking out. If there's anything we may need to adjust to have a realistic spending plan and be able to follow it and steer our money, and also pair with that delayed gratification. That was the second overarching theme of last week, is what can we wait on now to be able to afford later, that's going to set us up for success and not cause us to delay or backslide was the word I was thinking of, but we're not in church. um, Not delay our progress and our process. We want to go forward. So, what is it that we need to put on the not now list, and make sure that we are really assessing our wants versus our needs? And yes, you may need it, but do you need it right now, or can it wait? You know, give you some time to do some research. What is the most affordable way to, acquire whatever it is that you need, and or to just have some time to realize you really may not need it at all. So that buffer of, wants and needs, and that the importance of delayed gratification, doing some things now to be able to live the life and have the life that we want. And tonight we talk about setting the timer. Again, our most valuable asset is time. So now we're getting some deadlines to things. So at this point, every week we have been talking about, understanding your debt. Who do you owe? How much do you owe them? What are the interest rates? Uh, you know, and with that, now we need to put some dates to them, which is going to be the beautiful part about the $1 billion pay down that you will see. It actually lets you plug in the information. It's super simple. And then it'll tell you, okay, so in order to reach your goal by the date that you've assigned it, then this is the recommended amount to pay. So again, it's a built-in buffer of, all right, you have these goals, you've given a date. Now let's realistically look and see what needs to happen in order to make this, in order to accomplish this goal. So, are you ladies excited about steering the power? Or we kind of, not quite sure yet?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay.
I get excited about it, Evie, because it means we're moving forward. And I think that movement, that momentum is what, gets you excited. It's sort of just like that person that, they're dreading being on this diet, but once they lose 2 pounds, it's like, oh, it's on, it's on, it's on. And so I feel like when we start this journey to financial freedom and we begin, or we see that movement or that change or whatever, it fires you up, and then it'd be like, there is no stopping me now. And so
Yes.
this is that part of the lesson that I think is very exciting, because once we see a little bit of change or whatever, and once those light bulbs start going off, then it's on. It's on.
Yes. Yes. And dfree helps you to see that it's real, like it gives you a realistic view. Sometimes I think we make things more complicated, or we make it a bit scarier than what it actually may be. I owe too much. I don't have enough money. I can't do this. I can't do this. Well, dfree and the $1 Billion Challenge pay down, it helps you to take a deep breath and just like relax, give it a second. So based off this is what we need to do. So you can even adjust it. So, all right, say it takes another month or so to see that number come down when you go in there and make that payment and update it. It is it is a reward in and of itself. So if you are an intrinsic shopper, to make yourself feel good, it's like going to buy that pair of shoes for me to be able to see the amounts of debt decrease. And that's so encouraging. And it's freedom. Or as Dr. Sawyer says, you can give yourself a raise, pay off a few bills, and now, you can give yourself $1 or two raise, and it helps with, just financial freedom. So it's dfree in itself is exciting, but especially when you get here to giving it a date. All right, all right. Let me calm down. Calm down. All right. Creating milestones and setting our goals. So we all know that we're responsible for our goals for financial freedom, right? And we also know that God calls us to live responsibly in the present, and or what we call be a good steward of what He's given us. So we have to keep our hearts and our minds on eternity. In layman's terms, we got to plan for the future, right? So we must understand the relationship between time and money. And so here are a couple of different tools for that. So, one, time is money, right? Literally, time is money. And so lending agencies benefit whether you pay or default on loans. So pay bills on time, and if at all possible, avoid payday loans. I, for a couple years, worked for a title loan. We also did some loan advancements, aka payday loans, and it's for $200, you may pay $800-900 back. So if you really take a step back and look at it, is it really helping you or is it harming you? So yeah, you may get the $200 today, but we are charging you. We are taxing you every day that you have that money. So if you can, adjust your spending, maybe reach out to a family member or a friend. As we talked about in dfree, use what's in your hand. So what has God given you that maybe we're not using that can bring in some extra income? Can we decrease the cable package and save some money there? So whatever you do, don't default on your loans because it's going to cost you exorbitantly. All right. Rule of 72. Leverage the financial formulas and interest rates that double your savings and investments the best. Ms. Kiera, do you have any questions on time is money or rule of 72?
No,
No?
no, I don't.
Okay. And also in our workbook, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just trying to figure out what page you were on.
We on, oh, can you still see my screen?
I see you, but I don't see anything on the screen.
Oh, Miss
I
D,
see,
Miss Kim.
I see the video.
I see the video.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I was gonna get nervous. I was gonna say no. Okay.
Miss
Um,
Carol, do you think it may be your view? Are you seeing just Abby?
I'm just seeing Abby. Yes.
Okay, and it may be your view, how you're viewing it. It should be some options at the top of your screen or to change your view so that you can have be able to see the screen as well.
I see.
okay.
Yes, I see it now. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. We want you to be able to see it now. All right. And then lastly, concrete goals. All right. Establish specific timelines and target dates for accumulating wealth. Here goes that theme again. What are some deadlines? Putting a date to it. So we know by this date we want to have this much. So for instance, if you're saving up for your emergency fund, in 3 months I want to have whatever your number is. Maybe it's $500, maybe it's $1,000, maybe it's $3,000 by this date. So set a specific timeline and a date in order to make sure that one, you stay on track, and that two, we're again wisely using our time.
Hmm.
Hello, Kiana. Welcome, welcome.
Welcome to 12 Steps to Financial Freedom. This is a part of our dfree Online Academy. We're at the end of level 2. We call level 2 Get Control. Once we get started, it's important that we get control. We don't want to go backwards. We want to go forwards. And this is a part of our set the timer stage of our 12-step process. Setting the timer assumes that time is valuable. Time is an asset. That's one of the reasons we say we have power, is because we have time. And time can't be managed. Time has to be used, and it has to be used effectively. And here we go again with that word, used strategically. Setting the timer means that we stop dreaming and talk about what could be, if, what could have been, when, but we actually put on our calendars a date that we're going to pay off our debts, a date when we're going to open our business, a date. We've got to make a date with ourselves so that, again, the future does not catch us by surprise. What we want to do is make some commitments. I had to make commitments. I keep talking about commitments because along the way, it doesn't make sense to be motivated, nor does it make sense to simply be spiritual or pray. We've got to make commitments for ourselves. Every miracle I ever read about in the Bible required some human participation. And if God is going to do anything for us based on our faith has to be put into action, and we have to do something for ourselves. So our commitments now involve setting timers so that our futures can reflect our dreams. And our dreams can be the outcomes of all of our possibilities. What I learned about time is that I should really review my time regularly, every day of my life. I look at my calendar for the rest of the year. At this end of the year period, I'll look at my year for next year. At the beginning of the year, I'll look at my year for the entire year. In the middle of the year, I'll look at the year for the rest of the year. Every day of my life, I look at how I'm using time for the rest of that season. Well, I do the same thing with my finances. I discovered that I can make a decision about money, and a month later, that decision is my circumstances, my conditions may change because of health. I may change jobs that I hadn't planned on changing. And what I'd like you to get into a habit of doing with those 7 minutes every day that you spend is to dedicate some of that time to looking at your financial situation. Review your spending plan. Review your wants and your needs. Review your 3-month goals. Spend time with yourself. Talk to your advisor. Get a third party involved. Talk to an accountant. Sit down with a bookkeeper. But get people involved in your life that can ask you questions and challenge your conclusions to assist you in ensuring that what you have decided to do matches your reality and your needs and is appropriate for your life circumstances. Review your spending plan, please, on a regular basis. And if you've never done it before, do it now. Just before the halfway point of this journey to financial freedom, would you just take some time? It's in the workbook. Just go to your workbook, step 6, and review your financial plan. Go back to all the notes you took. Go back to all of the commitments you made and just firm up all of your perspective on yourself. It's very helpful. And again, the distractions that come from the outside should never be more powerful over your process than you are over your own process. So review all of that. We're living in a time when the playing field is really level for people that want to increase their income, especially the old-fashioned way. The old-fashioned way is the yard sale. Today, you can have a global yard sale. You can open up an account on one of these online sites. You can sell clothes. You can sell shoes. You can sell pots and pans. There's a market for everybody with anything everywhere. Members of my family have made hundreds of dollars selling items online that I thought were only worthy of the garbage. In fact, you can sell garbage cans online. What I'm urging all of us to do is to look around, whether it's real estate assets that make us asset rich and cash poor, or whether it's items in the house, clothes we haven't worn, utensils that we haven't used, tools that are brand new and they still have the sticker on them. I'd like to see how far you can go if you were to decide to liquidate some of that stuff, I'll call it stuff, that you've been accumulating over the years. You know, one of the easiest businesses in America today to open is a storage facility, because the bankers know that we have so much stuff that after we fill our bedrooms, fill our guest rooms, fill our attics, fill our basements, fill our garages, that we will pay a complete stranger $29 a month to hold on to stuff that we can never use, clothes we can never wear. It's a booming business. There are waiting lists in my area for storage facilities in places where people just put their stuff, tables and desks and chairs. Why don't you consider, instead of paying someone to hold on to stuff, having someone pay you to buy your stuff? I've got 2 treadmills in my house. I told you that I walk on my treadmill every single day. My wife decided she wanted a treadmill just like mine. So I just went online, I typed in the exact specifications of my treadmill, and then I found one. A man was selling it. He no longer used it. I went to his house. I bought it for 25% the price I'd have to pay in the store. But that 25% was money that he'd never get had he not sold that treadmill to me. So look around. Look around and see what you can sell, what item, what asset, to increase your revenue so that you can do what? Guess. I'll give you 2 guesses. Yes, you can take the revenue and pay down your debt to make sure you're living a debt-free life. Number three. Not only did I start listening to different radio stations when I made my commitment to change, but I started reading magazines I had never read before. I started reading Money Magazine, and I learned more from Money Magazine about money than I learned, I can't say specifically, but I'll tell you, I took some courses in grad school that did not teach me as much about those subjects as Money Magazine taught me about finance. Wall Street Journal. There are all kinds of publications, and you can go to the library. Take books out of the library. In other words, become a student so that you can become an expert on your own future. It's important to have a certified financial advisor, someone who's licensed, someone who understands the risks and can explain to you the options. But a good customer is an informed customer. And I'd hate to see you buy insurance without reading about insurance. I'd hate to see you buy a stock without knowing what stocks are. I'd hate to see you invest in bonds without at least knowing the basics about bonds. Today, we live in an information age. There is no excuse whatsoever to be completely ignorant as it relates to finance. I have a book in my house called Corporate Finance for Dummies, because I'm on 3 corporate boards, and before I got on those corporate boards, I knew nothing about corporate governance. I was a dummy, but I'm not a dummy anymore. I'm $11.99, and I'm not an expert, but I certainly know the language, and I certainly can hold my own in those board meetings. So I'd like to see you subscribe to a publication, read a book, acquaint yourself, familiarize yourself, do what you're doing now. Listen, the fact that you've come this far, you could not be listening to me, watching me right now, unless you'd really participated in the process that leads up to right now. But don't limit your exposure to me and dfree. Be broad, be expansive, go beyond your ethnic background, go beyond your religious beliefs, and find sources that can expand your mind, that will increase your capacity to achieve financial freedom. This is the halfway mark. I want you to celebrate whatever you've achieved. Call somebody, tell somebody, send me an email and say, since day one, here's the one thing I learned, here's the one thing I've accomplished, here's the one reason I'm thanking God for dfree. And we'll be very pleased and very excited and very motivated to embrace your testimony. And if you'd like to share it, we'll give you a chance to share your testimony with the dfree community all over the world. The commitments that I've made are commitments that anybody can make. And if I can get out of debt, I'm sure you can get out of debt. And if I can achieve financial freedom, you can achieve financial freedom. When I was in my 20s, I was approached by an agent from a reputable insurance company, and he offered me an opportunity to invest in a fund that provided both insurance and investment opportunities. And I did. I wrote a check, one check. I wrote one check, opened the account, never paid another dime. If I had continued with that plan, instead of buying expensive clothes, instead of buying luxury cars on a small salary, instead of eating in fancy restaurants, if I had stayed in that fund faithfully over the next 40 years, I would be a multi-millionaire. My problem was not that I couldn't afford it. My problem was I wasn't thinking that way. I say all the time to people who are around me a lot, don't let the future catch you by surprise. There are only 2 possibilities. One possibility is that you will not be here in the future. But the odds are that you are going to be here in the future. Most of us are not going to leave here like tomorrow. You're going to be here. And the younger you are, the more likely it is you'll be here for a long time. So the second possibility is that you will be here in the future, and you have the power, both the power and the responsibility, to make a plan. At least plan for the next 3 years. I made a commitment when I was in year 13 of my 15-year credit card drowning in debt drama. I made a commitment year 13 that within 3 years, I was going to be out of debt. I had to move out of my apartment, you know that. I had to sell my car, you know that. I had to stop buying newspapers. Back in those days, you physically bought a newspaper and read it. I stopped buying newspapers. I decided that every penny that I could squeeze out of my salary was going to go to paying bills. I was never going to be harassed by a bill collector again. I was never going to have mail that I was afraid to open again. I was never going to be embarrassed by people who thought they could just treat me like a child because I was acting like a child, not paying my bills. I decided that 3 years from that day, my life was going to be different, and anyone who bumped into me 3 years later was going to see a different me. Now it's hard. It's very hard to think 3 years out when you're just surviving. I know that. But the reality is, 3 years from now, if you are alive, which you probably will be, you have a decision to make what kind of person you'll be. Who will I see? You know what I tell young people all the time? In 3 years, the one thing I can be sure of about you is that you will not be wearing the same clothes. Listen, I know people that change their hairstyle every 2 weeks. The reality is we should be as certain about the changes we're going to make in our financial life as we are about the changes we make in our fashion life. Anybody who's caught wearing the same exact clothes from top to bottom, head to toe, 3 years from now is going to be considered weird. And I consider it weird for myself to anticipate being 3 years older and having no money still. I'd like you to accept this same challenge. Make a commitment to describing who you will be financially 3 years from now. Now you want to back up because the exercise assumes that you're willing to figure out what it's going to take to get there. If you plan to have $1 million 3 years from now, that means that you're going to save or invest or win or steal, do something to get about $333,000 per year. Divide that by 12, divide that by 30, and you'll understand what you have to do every day for the next 3 years. Our goals define our behavior. Then I want you to begin thinking about retirement. I know when I was 27 years old, the word retirement wasn't even in my vocabulary. But the reality is, at some point in our lives, it is our power and privilege to stop working and enjoy life and travel. But you can only do that if you have enough money to substitute for the money you earned when you worked for a living. Begin thinking retirement. Now, the bad news is that all retirement planning requires deciding when you plan to die. Most of us don't want to talk about that, but we'll cover that later on. Think about your retirement. Think about what life would look like if you could wake up in the morning, have all the money you needed, and not live paycheck to paycheck because you're no longer working. Now, this requires a professional, and I want to advise you again, I want to encourage you, sit down with a financial professional. I'm not a financial professional. I'm just a debtor saved by grace. You remember that. Sit down with a financial professional and begin thinking about your long-term financial needs, planning for retirement. Listen, this is an exciting time for you. These are new thoughts that you perhaps have never thought before. And I believe that your long-term financial goals will be addressed if you accept these commitments. Write them down. And remember that financial freedom begins by saying yes to no debt.
All right. So we have a lot of really good nuggets to talk through. I would like to hear from you ladies what resonated. So whether it was from Dr. Sori's video, something you read in the book, or working in your workbook, what has really resonated with you about setting the timer so far? And both of you ladies are muted.
Just jumping in, setting the timer, like something that big stood out to me in the workbook was like when I first got on the first page, it says the clock starts now. So that's something, just like I said, jumping in is the clock starts now. So set the timer starts now, literally.
Right. And so just to
There's no
piggyback off,
tomorrow. Don't start the next day, the next day, the next day. Whatever it is that comes to your head, just go ahead and do it now. if you can, if it's that, or make it a priority to do it when you can. But definitely start the timer now.
All right. And do you have any examples of maybe something that you have set a date to? All right. Think about it and we can come back to
I'm gonna
you.
say, yeah, give me a second. I know I got an answer. I'm trying to
I,
think
I've,
about
I've seen your
what
notebook.
answer.
Right. I've seen your notebook. So I know you have.
Yeah.
So I'll go to Miss Carol and then I'll circle back around.
Okay.
Miss Carol.
Yeah. Um, probably my student loans, because everything else is going down. Um, so
What about
just
your budget that we worked on? There are some dates that you set to that.
yeah, that as well. That as well. Yeah.
All right. All right. Kiana, I saw your hand go up.
Yes, so I have already from last week. You remember I was talking about, I said for my birthday, instead of asking for a gift, well, not even asking, just getting gifts and money and different things for my family. I've already, because my mom, of course, her birthday is on the 10th, which is right there. She came to my house and bought me this really nice space picture and said it was for my birthday. And I was like, oh, mom, this is a lovely picture. It's going to go great with my new room and my new house. I say, but I just want to let you know, for my birthday, I really want to pay off that Capital One card. So I don't know if you and my brothers and daddy or whoever, but I love this picture, but I really have to go because I want to pay off this Capital One card for my birthday. And she's like, oh, okay, baby. I'll tell them about it, but here, still get your picture. I say, well, thank you. So
Yes.
yeah. That's definitely
Awesome.
the time where it started, because soon as she started with, even because her birthday comes first, I had to go ahead and let her know where we're not gonna load me up with gifts because I do have a goal.
That's awesome. I think that is awesome. And that's a great way to reach those goals by not only changing your mindset, but changing the mindset of the people around you to look at the opportunities to be a
Mm-hmm.
blessing to you and to still help you celebrate your birthday. But it's
Mm-hmm.
also going to be helping you reach your goals that you have as well. So I think that's absolutely amazing. The way
Thank
that
you.
you did that. So that was very tactfully done, and hopefully they will help you reach that goal. So very good. Abby, if it's okay, I wanted to share just recently. I wanted to share that comment that Kiana talked about, where the clock starts now.
Yes. Yes,
From the
please.
standpoint of it being what we need to understand is that from the time that we gain the new knowledge, the new information, we become accountable. And so I look at it from the standpoint, look, the clock or the time starts right now. Why? Because I just gained some new information. I just got new insight. I just became more empowered. And as a result of that, the clock starts right now. What am I going to do with it? How am I going to respond to it? How am I going to be held accountable to it? So, I mean, that's another way to kind of look at it. Anytime you gain any new information, any new insight, you're able to say to that, look, the clock starts right now. What's going to be my new response to this? How am I going to actually make application of this new information? So ladies, the clock starts now.
All right. So Ms. D, so what you're saying is information equals accountability?
Yes.
Oh,
I heard that while she was
if,
talking too.
yes, you caught it too. Knowledge
yes.
bomb. Yes.
Yes,
So
we become
information.
accountable. We become accountable for what we now know. So again, that clock starts at that moment.
All right. So now we have time is money. Time is also our most valuable asset. But point three is information is accountability. So now that you know, now that you are aware, you know, that clock starts right then. So even if you're unclear, reach out for assistance. Talk to somebody. Hey, this is what I know I want to do, by this date. How do I get there? So information is accountability. I think we need to coin that. We gotta start putting that out there because that's so easy to understand. So all right. So
Like they
now
say, when you know better, you do better.
there you go.
Mhm.
There you go. Especially if you're searching for truth, it has a way of finding you. Now, what do you do with that truth? You have to be accountable. So that was good. I wrote that down, y'all. Information is accountability. All right, now I want to make sure I'm staying on track here. So in our workbook, all right, can you ladies see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. All right, now one of the things that you are going to get with dfree is encouragement and motivation and biblical supplements to back up whatever the goal is for the week. And so our motivation here for this week is I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I think that is so important to remember while you're setting the date, while you're going to be holding yourself accountable, is that reminder that one, you're not alone. Two, God is with you, Christ is with you, and He is empowering you to meet that goal. Set the date and work with Christ in order to accomplish your goal. And so, does anybody have any takeaways or has anything just kind of resonated with them as you were going through your workbook, especially in reference to the scripture?
Well, that's definitely a scripture that I'm not new to. So I definitely believe I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. And it's definitely been just something I've always lived by and always used as an affirmation, sort of, kind of, in a way.
Yes, it's certainly affirmation. It's certainly affirmation. I think we had increase of hope. Break it down into a couple words. There's hope. It's not too late. Start where you are. No judgment. All of that really, for me, really mirrors that scripture. So we are here to remind you. dfree is here to remind you that you can do it. You can do it, and dfree works. If what you work it. So, all right, let's take a look at page 47, and I'm really excited to kind of get to page 49. So I will, Kiana, do you want to read tonight? We've already read
Give
the
me
opening.
1 second. My son just woke up, but I'm listening for sure.
Okay, okay,
I'm changing him up and about to put him back down.
okay. All right, So okay, perfect. And you muted. All right, so let's do this. I'll go ahead and read. The clock starts now. And Claude and Grace first had to stop avoiding the financial trouble they were in. They had gone to counseling sessions with Pastor Knight. This did allow them an opportunity to see how they could work together on their problems, keep their romance and marriage flavorful, and communicate better with the children. The sessions also offered practical ways to handle their ever rising mountain of large and daunting debt. Pastor Knight gave them some financial resources to contact and even wrote down steps to help them achieve their financial goals. Yet they could not move. Time was not on their side, nor was the interest rates or the collectors that called. Finally, the mortgage company called to say the house was in pre foreclosure. So Claude and Grace decided to take action and start putting their plan in motion. Have you established a plan that will help you get out of debt, or Have you put a plan in motion? If yes, share what jump started you. So I'm gonna pause that. So how have you ladies, oh, Miss Kara, I see you're unmuted. Have you put a plan in place or have you started the plan in motion with your debt freedom journey?
Um, I guess, yeah, I guess I have, just by pretty much, watching what I do, what I spend. I think it was earlier this week or the end of last week, I saw that some of my debts went from 5,000 to 4,000. So I see it moving, so that's encouraging. I just really need to, keep up with um, the student loan, try to figure out what am I going to do in terms of that, because it's a substantial amount. So I am going to be looking at putting something in place for that.
Okay. Did I hear this wrong? Did y'all hear her say that her one of her debts went from $5,000 to $4,000? That's huge, Miss Carol. We can't just gloss over that because I looked at it. So I'm like I am fighting tears because we met, was it last week or week before last, and talked about you being aggressive with paying down your cards and some of the accounts. And so yes, your plan is in motion. You are really aggressively paying what you can in order to get those debts down. That is huge. That's $1,000. Think
Yeah.
about the interest that's you're gonna be saving, and like that is huge. So that is awesome. I know you're proud of yourself and I'm proud, of that as well. Woo! All right, Kiana.
Okay, so not one thing, a few things I've done to like put my plan into motion. I actually met with Peter again on last week. And we, of course, even though I had already pulled my credit report and jotted some things down, we really tackled it. What area of like maybe of my life it came from, where I need to tackle at, where exactly my bills are at. And the last time we met, it was saying, okay, let's bring that income up. So I did do that. I brought in a new income for the month of August. So when we met on September 2nd, of course, he was like, everything's this and that, like everything's good. And then actually like studying my credit report, I have begun to start. Of course, I'm still working the extra job that I came into in August, but I'm going to continue to work there, but I'm going to seek another job that's going to bring in even more money and even those extra little odd jobs too, so I can continue to tackle debt and bringing it down by bringing my income up, so I could actually be able to tackle even the smaller things. I'll be able to just get them out of the way if I bring my income up more. So that's plan. I'm sticking to my plan, increasing my income every month so I can, and studying my credit report so I can tackle those debts and not creating new debts.
That's huge.
That's
That is
awesome.
Yeah. Did you hear all that, Miss D?
Yes, amazing. Just exciting.
Listen, $1,000 down in debt.
Some more goals before we meet again on October 7th. So I'm here for that too. So I have some more goals until October 7th, and I know I'm going to reach them. So I'm excited for that.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
Oh
Awesome.
yes.
Awesome.
Oh yes. All right. So not only do we have plans, we have put those plans into motion. So that is huge. That is huge. All right. Now, what is your thoughts on interest. So that has come up a couple times in this lesson. So interest rates, where we put our money, opening up accounts that compounds, or the rule of 72. So what has been your thoughts on interest rates? Have you thought about it at all? Have you looked at maybe your savings accounts, and or if you're looking into IRA accounts or retirement accounts? Have you started to maybe look at the amount of money that you'll need to start to invest and or save in order to really get to where you want to go? And if so, does anyone have any questions? So silence is consent. All right.
Well,
So
Evie, I was gonna say, what I will share just with the ladies in reference to interest is that in and of itself, it's not a bad thing. Just sort of just like, money in and of itself is not a bad thing, it's how we use it. And so with interest, it just depends on where we are. Are we in a position where interest is working for us because we have investments or retirement and our money is growing and compounding? Or are we maybe unfortunately in a relationship with interest where it's working against us because we have, the consumer debt and it's compounding just like a savings plan would, but this interest is compounding and we're owing more and more money. And instead of that debt coming down, it's actually growing. And so, I think it's a good idea to maybe just look and see where we are or what our relationship actually is with interest right now. And then do just like Kiana does, come up with our plan to address it and attack it so that we can get to the position where interest can be working for us and not against us.
absolutely, absolutely. We want to pay our bills on time so that interest is not working against.
Right.
A lot of times those fees are, $75 after so many days. That adds up. And if you're late the next month, that's $150. So in that instance, like Ms. D was saying, the interest is working against us as opposed to being able to work for us. So please keep that in mind. And if you have any questions, definitely reach out. We have professionals who can help you with that. Um, Barriers and obstacles. We had a really good time with these last week. So let's look at these really three practical questions in reference to the topic this week. So what are some practical steps that you can take to make a difference in your life? And so the first thought is, I have discovered I can save blank by blank date. Setting that timer. So has anyone discovered, or that you can save a certain amount of money by a certain date, and maybe thought that through? And if not, no shame, no guilt. Think about it. That's a lot of what we do, is maybe help you think about, plant that seed in your mind to be able to, set some dates and set the timer on it. Okay. 2, I have discovered that time affects the blank of money. What is something that you ladies have discovered that time affects the blank of money? That's for anybody. Jump in.
Okay. Well, I certainly want to give these ladies time to chime in there, but I would say the value.
Ooh.
Affects the value of money. Once again, we didn't go really in depth to the rule of 72, but that is, if my money, if I have it invested and it's making interest, it has so many doubling periods in its life if I keep doing that and do it consistently. And so definitely, and I do it over a long period of time, it affects the value of my money. And so if I don't invest over a long period of time, or if I've not taken time to start doing it early, then that money doesn't have as much value because it hasn't had enough time to be affected by compound interest.
Yes. And we are actually going to take a look at that. And I'm so glad you're on tonight. on page 50 and 51. So yes, time affects the value of our money. Kiana, I thought I heard you unmute. I don't want to.
Yeah, I was thinking and I was doing this, I was like, say, what word is gonna fit in the blank? And that's where I was looking for the value, but I couldn't figure out what word was gonna fit in the blank. But that's what I was trying to hint at was value.
I heard the wheels spinning in your head. I heard it. So I was like, all right, anybody just jump in out there. All right. And then last but not least, I have discovered it is possible to blank.
Be D-free if I be consistent.
Oh, okay. Okay. You can definitely be debt free. You can be D
And
free.
apply the knowledge that's giving and setting the timer.
Woo-woo.
When I get the knowledge and becoming accountable when I get it.
You preaching, girl. You preaching.
Amen. Church, as we will say, church. Yes, 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 yes. Miss Carol, are you unmuted? I want to. What's your input? This is so good.
I, at this point, I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it right now.
Okay, so maybe I have discovered it's possible to plan plan to become D free. Is that fair?
That's fair.
All right.
And then based on her previous testimony, she has discovered it is possible to pay down debt.
Yes, that's good.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. This is so. I'm fighting to stay seated. One, I'd go off camera, but this is so good. Like sometimes I think. I think maybe Ms. D talks about this. I think sometimes you get so tunnel vision in what you're doing until maybe sometimes you don't look up to see what you've accomplished. Sometimes we just don't celebrate enough of, like, even if it's one little teeny tiny step, you're one step closer to your goal. And if you can make one step, you can make two. And before you know it, you're running and you're skipping, and you're leaping to your goals. So this is so good. This is so good. Proverbs 13:22, a good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children. We are becoming D free and getting rid of those three bad D's: debt, delinquencies, and deficiencies, to be free to deeds, deposits, and dividends. We're doing that for our children's children, right? So we are working. I have discovered that it's possible to leave inheritance for my grandchildren and my great great grandchildren. So, these scriptures, see how they fit your situation and your goals, and hold on to them, write them down. If you start to feel discouraged, pull them out. Pull out those D-free videos, rewatch them, reach out to us. Like I said in the beginning, once you went through D-free, you're a lifelong member. So the next cycle that we have, if you need to do a refresher, come on in, no shame, let's go. Because it all goes together. All right, so let's look at page 40, that's 48 and 49. And you know what? Let me ask you your opinions, ladies. One, honestly, have you read this page?
You talking about 49?
Yes, the history of the Thomas J. Boyd Chapel.
No.
No, okay. And pretty much it really is a summary of the activity that we just did. I'm trying to be cognizant of the time. We went through the barriers and the obstacles, the scriptorial base. But do you ladies think you can go back and read that above portion on your own? I really want to get to the $1 billion pay down tonight and show you what it is, the tool, and secondarily how easy it is to input the information so we can get that going. And that's something that will also keep you super motivated as you see your numbers coming down when you make that payment. Does that sound good to you ladies?
Yes, it does.
Okay. You ladies are so awesome. We do have a little game though. So what you did not know is I am one of the hosts for The Price is Right for dfree only dfree. All right, so let's look at a couple of things, a couple of questions that we've talked about, some scenarios that we've talked about literally from our introductory session together. So, we're going to ask a few questions and we want you to think about it and really see if you've been paying attention to some of the numbers and the figures that we have been sharing throughout our course together on how we could save major money, major dollars by just tweaking a few things or discontinuing a few things. All right. So, first question: how much money can you save a year by making your own coffee at home instead of buying Starbucks? How much money a year can you save by making your own coffee instead of buying Starbucks? Any takers?
I'll say $1,200.
There we go.
I see your beautiful face, Abby. Are we supposed to be seeing our screen?
There we go.
Okay. Look at, oh my God. I mean, I guessed that too. I'm telling you, I did not see this.
Oh wow, I was
She
going to say
has it.
1,200. I don't know why I was going to say 1,200 because I didn't remember, but I did think of 1,200.
You ladies are in the vein. You're in the vein. So it's about $4.75 a cup if you do certain types of coffee. Some drinks can cost exorbitantly more, but if you're doing about $4.75 5 days a week times 52 weeks in a year, there's an instant $1,200 that you can save by just brewing your own cup of coffee at home. And for $1,200, I'm pretty sure now it'll even taste better if you make it at home.
That must be why I bought this Folgers instant coffee, and I got a kettle from Goodwill, and I've been making me some coffee at home. I must be knew I needed to save.
Listen. I just dfree reminded me that I just couldn't afford Starbucks. Me and Starbucks have a very lengthy relationship. They email me now because they don't see me as much, but sometimes you have to realize I can't afford $1,200 a year. That's something I can be putting for something else. So, all right, good job, Kiana. Next question.
Actually,
sorry.
When I would go to Chick-fil-A, I would have my rewards points, and I stopped buying because my thing was iced coffee.
Okay.
So I actually got a free iced coffee, I think about 2 weeks ago, because I had points from Chick-fil-A, so I didn't have to buy that iced coffee.
Oh.
All right. So, by
Gosh.
all right, ladies, that noise. All right. So
What was the question to that one? That was $112,000. I want to know.
Yeah. Okay. So let me go back. Y'all wait. So
Okay, so what? Show the
so it went
question.
away. Okay. A person can save this much money over a lifetime
Oh my
by
gosh.
bringing their lunch to work.
Wow, that was amazing. Over $100,000. Wow.
A little behind there.
Mhm.
It, I can buy a house. That's
Exactly. I mean,
that's my
that's a good start right there.
listen. I mean, college tuition. That's a pretty awesome retirement.
Yep.
Account right there just by taking a few extra minutes and preparing your own food. Because on average, typically you spend about $15-20 a meal.
Mm.
So save that money, make that grocery list, stick to the spending plan. In $112,000 over, and I think it only ran for 25 years. So
Mhm.
look at how much money you can save in that area alone in 25 years. So that is so beautiful. All right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to switch my screen here so we can look at the $1 billion pay down. Are you ladies excited about that?
Mhm.
Yeah. Miss Carol, did you say?
Excited
Mm-mm?
about being debt free.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you said mm-mm.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah, let's move this out the way. There we go. So can you ladies see this? You see my picture to the left? It says $1 billion.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to move my face. And I'll back up so you can see what it looks like from the beginning. So if you go to $1 billion paydown.com, can you ladies still see the screen? It says
Yes, ma'am.
okay, perfect. So if you go to $1 billion paydown.com, you'll see this screen. You'll see the amount that collectively dfree as a collective has paid off to date. $31 million, ladies. 31 million. That is so exciting, so encouraging. It has went up significantly since the last time I even logged in to it. So just know, again, we're D-Free family. You're not alone. We are paying off debt together. So celebrate it. So what you'll do, oh, is it will ask you to sign in if you've already created an account, or you'll see this green section over here that says join now. And what you do is you click that. It's going to ask you the basic information, your name, your email address, things of that nature, in order to go ahead and create your account. All right. And so once you do that, I believe it'll actually take you back to log in. You'll see the login page. As you can see, I already have an account, so I'm just going to hit log in. And the box here, keep me signed in, that's an option if you don't want to have to log in as much. It will be timed out after a certain period of time, so you will have to log in, but just so you don't have to, stay as active as much. All right, and then you'll see your dashboard, pay down, group management tutorial. There are steps for everything, support and the movement. And then you'll also see over here, add new goal. Let's do this. Let's go to, actually I think it'll say group management. And it'll give you an option to type in the name of a group. And what do you know? Increasing hope, we have a group. So it's actually listed under low country. There we go. Low country dfree hyphen increasing hope. And you'll see our information here. Down dead, up with hope. I'm sure you recognize that from all of our weekly constant contacts that go out. And you can join. It'll send us an email. Kiana wants to join your group. Carol wants to join your group. We'll go ahead and approve that and give you access. And that way you can see here, who has joined. It'll show you our debt goals, our savings goals. And as we pay things off, you'll also see it here where you see main group and subgroup. So you'll see, what our debt goals has done so far in saving. All right. Likewise. Now, how do you do this, FJ? What you're going to do is click on add a new goal. So you can do a new debt goal and or a new savings goal. So for the sake of our time tonight, because they're literally the same steps, let's look at doing a debt goal. So as you can see, I've went ahead and created one for my Discover card. But let's do another one. So our debt record name, going to say MUSC. No, wrong hospital, Roper. St. Francis is who I owe. And the amount, the last visit, the hospital visit alone for my tooth, when I looked at the bill, I think it was $13.75, and that was just for the one bill. That was not including the pain and antibiotics and scans. So we'll just say $13.75, and I have a debt 4. And so these are your options: credit cards, auto, loan insurance, installment, medical is what I'm going to select, and then the rates. I actually don't know the rate, and let's just say compound interest, right? And so you see the amounts that you owe, what it's for, what your percentage rates is which is why, we've waited until tonight so you're able to get your documents, have them in front of you to know exactly what the interest rate is, and enter it here. And then I want to start paying for it on, and let's just say, let me get paid again, say the 25th. And as a goal, I would like to have this amount paid $13.75 by what date, right? So we're setting a date. So glad y'all can't see my face. Let's just say December 31st. And I can commit to making a payment on. I think this is really cool. So if you get paid weekly, if you get paid bi-weekly, or monthly, then that is how you can set your payment amount. And for the sake of things, I'm going to say monthly. And so what that shows me is for this debt of $13.75, with this interest rate that I've plugged in here, that I will need to make a payment of $464.45 in order to have this debt paid off by December 31st of this year. Now, I want to stop here. Does anyone have any questions or concerns or comments so far?
I like it. I think it's cool.
Okay. And, and if once you get your number here, if you go, oh, that's way too much, then you might want to adjust your date here. So your date that you want to pay it off by, I would definitely encourage you to write this number down. And, that's where, again, you can use what God is giving you in your hands. Can I sell some items? Am I wearing all these dresses? Do I need all this, these extra accent pieces, or, as Kiana gave us the idea, birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, anniversaries, instead of, this out of town trip, that money that we would have saved, can I use that to pay off this debt or these debts? All right. But I love how it gives you an exact number in order to reach your goal. And once you hit, let me make sure. Yeah, so once you hit create this goal, yes. Now, when I make a payment, and actually I intentionally did not do this so I can show you later tonight. So I made a payment of $50 over what I was supposed to. Well, I made a payment of $50, so I don't confuse you. Update. Log this amount. Yes. And then here it'll say 12% completed. So the more you pay, and as you get closer, this number will go up, and before long, it'll be 100%. All right. And so just make sure as you're paying them, especially if you like to visually see how you're making a difference and how you're making a dent and impact in your goal, in your savings goals, whether it's saving for your savings accounts and or your debt payment goals, then make sure you come back to billiondollarpaydown.com and log your payments. And remember, you have the support tool. So if the site is acting a little wonky, which we all know may happen with technology, use a support tool. If you're looking for a tutorial, you have some questions about something, and maybe it's late night and it's after hours and you can't reach us, here there's lots of different options on, areas that they can give you some support and some tutorials in. So, your group management section, adding a goal, managing your profile and account. So it literally gives you step by step information and even visuals to make sure, that you can follow along in order to achieve whatever it is that you are trying to do in this tool. As any questions so far, or at this point, rather? Okay, and so when you go back to the dashboard, right here, instantly shows you how much. So the payment that I entered of $50, it automatically shows me here. And I do not have any savings goals set up yet. I moved some of the stuff out of here just because I knew I wanted to do a tutorial in my account. So I'll go back and add those things in. And so this is what your dashboard homepage will look like. So these are the 2 debts that I've entered, and this is my progress. And, the more debts you have, you can hit view all debts, and it'll definitely categorize those for you or display those for you. All right. Is that easy enough? Anything that you're not necessarily clear or sure about?
Well, I think it's really good because I'm more of a visual person myself, so something like that I could definitely take note of and get into and sign up to do.
Absolutely. And like Ms. D said, info is accountability, being intentional about using the tool and going in to log those payments and really celebrate each payment that you log in. Celebrate it, and keep yourself encouraged to keep going. All right. And, it's new tonight, but as you go through it later on, if you have any questions, shoot me an email if we need to do, hey, can you remind me how to do that again? Um, you know, you guys know how I feel about dfree, so I am totally here for that. Miss Carol, we all good?
Mhm.
Good, 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 good. All right, so let me get back to any questions so far. Anything that we've covered so far tonight? Um, any of the information in our books, in our workbooks? Anything. Okay.
I missed the minutes. But did we already do the vote?
No, we have not. We have not. I was trying to wait for the
Okay.
majority. So no, we will do
Okay,
that.
I was just making sure I knew I missed the first few minutes.
Oh yes, oh yes. Nope, nope, nope. So we'll get there next. So statistically speaking, again, this is on page 48 in your workbook. 56% of Americans have less than $25,000 in savings or retirement. 51%, have no private pension coverage. And please use these links. Go and, follow them. There's really good information. There's really good tools and connections. So if you're looking for something in these areas, this is another place where you can go um, to definitely help with setting those goals and learning more information. The more you know, the more you can grow, the more you can use it. All right, our 3 affirmations for this week and to really sit with and talk through over the next week and over the next bit here is a goal without a deadline is just a dream. We are just daydreaming until we put a date to it. All right, 2, time. Time is our most valuable asset that we have. Time is money, y'all. Time is money. All right. And lastly, I can accomplish more than I ever imagined if I just use the right system. The free gives you systems, it gives you tools. Remember those scriptures. I can do all things through Christ. I can accomplish more than I ever imagined if I just use the system. dfree works. What? If you work it. All right, now at our commitments, let's talk through the Super Saturday. So originally, our Super Saturday and our graduation was set for Saturday, September the 18th. We set that date last year. What we did not know was that we were going to be having a dfree training and retreat, which also happens that same day during that time. So we did not want to have to try to split our attention and not give you our full focus and energy, that you ladies deserve. So we're posing the question of A, do you want to replace that Saturday with an additional Thursday night? Hear me out though. So with doing that, that's a 3 hour window. So right now we only meet for an hour and a half, 90 minutes. So we would need to double that time for Thursday. All right, that's option 1. Or option 2 would be to meet to do our Super Saturday and our graduation with the next class, which begins on October 5th. So that Super Saturday, I can give you the date, would be Saturday, November the 20th from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. That also, in my opinion, would give you the opportunity to refresh on anything if you needed to, and really give you some time to sit with and work the steps that you've learned so far. So I'm gonna quit talking and I'll give you a second or two just to silence to really kind of think about that and what you would like to see happen. Or you can just say, MJ, I don't really care. I'm doing whatever the majority does.
Well, I'll say I'm all for doing whatever the majority does, but I also think when you explained it, waiting until the next dfree class graduation is also a good option because a lot of the information is still fresh, and even though we're implementing it every week, by then we'll definitely have more success stories, less debt, and more accomplished then. And even if we wanted to still pop into some of the October classes, we'll become more knowledgeable. So I'm for either or, but I think I like the option of being able to accomplish more and actually implement them more than I have already been doing.
Okay. So that's one for November the 20th. Miss Carol.
I'll do the same.
Okay.
Yeah, November.
November 20th. Oh,
Mhm.
you ladies, Miss D, you hear how easy they go on me? Like, oh, that is it's awesome. Thank you so much for being flexible. We really appreciate it because me and Ms. D talked and we went back and forth and back and forth. So thank you so much for being flexible and understanding. And I'm excited. I cannot wait to hear even just by October, a couple of weeks, what you ladies have put into place and really been working and working and working. So I know, Ms. D, you know I'm a cry, right? You already know I'm a cry. So I'm just preparing y'all. I have to mute myself and she just jump in and start talking for me. So, so all right, let's do our closing. Our assignment actually is going to be to really go through, rewatch the videos. We've sent them all out. I'll send this one out on Thursday, like we normally do. Go through, rewatch them. Use your workbook, read your book, and really amp it up. Now that you've experienced the first 6 steps, work those 6 steps. And let's really come back together, in October, November, and, really see some growth and progress. You ladies are progressing and growing every week already. So just imagine what another 6 weeks is going to look like. So keep that timer set. Know that you're not doing this on your own. We have God, we have the Holy Spirit that we can consult. Lord, show me how to do this, or be honest. Like, Lord, I'm a little discouraged now. I'm saving this money, and it doesn't seem like, I'm accomplishing what I was trying to do. And reach out to us. We're here. I told you from day one, we're family now. So if you need some encouragement, if you need to come in, you ladies are already taking advantage of that. Come in and see us, sit with us. Let us walk beside you on this journey, and just know that there's hope. It's not too late. Use the time as your partner. Let that interest work for you. Continue to pay those bills on time, so you're not delinquent. So you can do it. Stay encouraged, stay motivated, reach out when you need us. Even if it's an accomplishment, you just want to share it. Email us, call us up. We're here to keep you encouraged and motivated. And it's so encouraging to us. Every time I get something, I shoot it over to Miss D. And she's like, see, they're doing it. They're getting it. That is so encouraging for us. So I will also send you our check-in survey. And it's pretty much the same process as you did for the last 3 steps, or that you did on the first day. So there will be a check-in survey. Let us know where you are, some feedback, and we really appreciate it. And congratulations, we finished step 2. All right. Our closing prayer. Y'all know this is my second favorite thing, right? So everybody unmute. And
So
yes.
before we close out, I would, if you don't mind, like to just thank, number one, all of the ladies. Thank you, ladies, for your diligence, for your commitment, for being committed to the class and the course, and to just be diligent to this process and journey. We know it can be a little overwhelming. So I want to commend you. I want to commend you for the great work that you have done, and also celebrate you even now as you're in the process, for all the amazing steps and the progress that you have made and that you're going to make. And then I want to thank FJ for facilitating this course and this class. Of course, it makes for us for long days, and all kinds of things, but she has been diligent and to be excited to be engaged and be here for you ladies. So thank you, Ebby for being a part of our wonderful team and making it what it is. And so we appreciate you and thank you for doing the class. And we will see you ladies at our graduation. And as Ebby has encouraged you, please just plug in. We have services here that we feel that help you meet needs in almost every area, whether it's becoming a homeowner, facing foreclosure, need your taxes done, whatever. That's what we have developed and worked so hard to make Increasing Hope be the one-stop shop for you to come in the area of your personal finances. So again, I appreciate you and thank you, Ebby J. So I'm going to share that.
Yes. You're
Yeah,
very,
I
very
really
welcome.
appreciate it.
You're very welcome. You ladies are the reason why we're open. You're the reason why we get up every morning, why we do what we do, to see our community change, right? And if we can change ourselves, we can change our families. If we can change our families, that's how we change our communities. And so, we're in this together. And now that as Miss DC, I'm gonna keep saying that information is accountability. So let's keep going, ladies. Let's keep going. We can do this. We can be free. We can be debt free, right? We can be lenders and not borrowers. And most importantly, I want to charge you with sharing free with somebody, right? I think free is the best hid secret. Well, we don't want that to happen anymore. We want you to go out and be like, hey, have you heard about free? Here's how it's changing my life. You ladies are now, walking advertisements of something that works, something that you can believe in, and something that you can share with others. So please, let others know about dfree and send them our way. We want to plug them in. We want to take this as far as we can to touch as many people as we can so we can change our lives, our families, and our communities. All right, I'm gonna stop talking before I start to cry. Like we have made it through. We have made it through without me completely falling apart. So, does anyone else have any? Does anyone else have any comments? Any, maybe testimonies or just something that you have learned that you're going to commit to until we meet again. Putting the ball back in your court.
One thing that I was thinking of while you were talking was being that I've already like switched my schedule somewhat in a way for Tuesday nights. I've had the workbook, but I've been mainly like doing a lot of like more action, like doing a lot of the things and like being present in class. But over the time until we meet again, I'm going to, and this is something I'm going to stick to, each Tuesday, I'm going to devote it to doing like actually writing my answers out in my workbook, because it's a lot of power when you actually put it on pen and paper. Even though I am implementing them in real life, I want to put it each week on the paper. So by the time graduation comes, it's all in the book and I can always look at back of how I felt while I was becoming debt free. So when I become debt free there, at the finish line, I'm like, oh yeah, I can look back on it as my own testimony versus me being in class and just remembering everything and being hands-on. So that's something that popped into my head when we were talking.
All right. So you're going to commit to be intentional every week, pulling out that workbook, pulling out that book, and really going through it. Whew, I am fighting tears. Miss Carol?
Yeah. I'll just continue to, use the program, and follow the guide, follow the plans. Um, that's what I'll do.
All right. So I hear you saying you're just going to keep walking the process. You're going to keep
Mhm.
taking those steps, keep being intentional, keep doing what you're doing because you ladies are making great progress. You're taking the information and you are applying it. And that is to be commended. Whew, all right, Miss D, you might have to step in. All right. So yes, it's a great action step for application of what you have learned. Yes, 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 yes. All right, ladies, let's get this closing prayer. And here we go. All right, 1, 2, 3. Dear God, hey, don't tell me
I
y'all crying too now.
My
But
son is
no,
very excited right now, but I'm definitely doing the prayer with you guys.
Okay, okay. I was gonna say, don't tell me y'all crying too now. We got to keep it together. All right. So, dear God, I
I
believe
believe
this is
this
the
is the season
season for
for
me
me to
to
appreciate
appreciate the
the
value
value
of
of
time.
time.
Please
Please
bless
bless
the
the
commitments
commitments
I have
I've
made
made so
so
I
I use
use
the
the
time
time
you have
you've
given
given
me
me to
to invest
invest my
my resources
resources wisely.
wisely.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. All right, ladies, we have hit week 6. We finished week 6, and I will send over the videos. Rewatch them. If you have any questions, the door is still open. It's always open. You know, reach out to us. We are here to serve you and to work with you and walk beside you. All right, and sometimes maybe even push you a little bit if we need to. So we're here. We are here. All right, if all hearts and minds is clear, then good night, good night, good night, and
Good
thank you so
night.
much. Thank you
Good
so
Thank
night,
much.
ladies.
you.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.